You're only 18. You can't possibly have baby fever, right? Well, according to AI, I actually can. If you just ignore the part that says in a baby, a body temperature that is higher than normal, typically 104, I just had that. I was just sick. And these stories that I'm about to read are about babies. But they're not the good kind of, yay, we have a kid. They're more of like we're using our kid in this relationship to manipulate you. So, that'll be interesting, but we'll see how it goes. Getting right into it with story one. Am I the asshole for making my wife think our son was missing? My wife has a horrible habit that I discovered 2 months ago. We were ordering lunch on the Subway app, and I told her to pick the location that has a drive through. That way, we don't have to go inside and take the baby out of the car just to clip him back in a few minutes later. She told me it's not a big deal to leave the baby in the car to run in and pick it up really fast. I had no idea she ever did this. I told her I was not comfortable with leaving him in the car alone, even for a minute, and she told me she's been doing it since he was born and it's always been fine. She told me she does it to pick up food, run into the post office or pharmacy, etc. I was floored. We don't live in a horrible area, but it's not also super safe either. I told her to not ever do this again. She told me she never stopped to think about the potential dangers and that she would stop doing it. Well, yesterday, as I was driving home from my brother's house, I spotted her car at a gas station near our place. It was parked in a spot up front and not a pump, so I figured she stopped in to grab some snacks, which we like to do. I decided to stop and go in and say hi and get some food, and I pulled in and parked next to her. However, when I got there, I was furious to find our son in his car seat. The car wasn't even locked. I don't know what came over me, but in that moment I decided to take my son and put him into my car. He's got a car seat in there too. Then I drove to the other side of the gas station parking lot and waited for my wife to come out. It took 6 minutes for her to appear. When she saw that he was gone, she looked stunned for a second and then started to frantically look around and cry. I didn't let it go on long. After this, I saw her pull out her phone, presumably to call 911, and that's when I pulled my car around to her. I parked, got out, and walked around to my son's door and opened it to show him to her. She looked extremely relieved, but that quickly turned to anger when her asking me why I took him and did that to her. I told her she needed to learn her lesson, and she promised to stop leaving him in the car, and that she was extremely irresponsible. It was so easy for me to pull up and take him. No one else at the gas station even noticed. So if he really was taken, there would have been no help, and it would have been 100% her fault. She proceeded to call me cruel and psychotic and tried taking her son out of my car into hers. I said no, and that I would be driving him home, and I left. She came home not much later, but ignored me the rest of the day. She acknowledged me today, saying she wanted an apology, and I said absolutely not, and she's the one who should be saying sorry. She's been guilt tripping me the rest of the day, saying no mother should experience the fear I put her through. Did I go too far? Am I the asshole? Sure. Normally I'm against full game playing, but this is your child's life. I support your actions. Your wife is being hugely neglectful. Not to mention it'll be warm soon, and being left in a hot car even for a few minutes can be deadly. Not the asshole, and I wouldn't let her take him anywhere until she apologized. Counter 2. Look, OP, let's be honest about the reality of this situation. Your wife has knowingly and intentionally left your infant alone in a vehicle multiple times. At least once, that vehicle was unlocked. I'm honestly shocked no one has called the cops for child endangerment yet, but eventually someone will. When that happens, CPS will probably get involved. You have now documented on the internet that you knew that this was happening. If CPS finds out that you knew and continued letting your wife leave the baby alone in the car, you will both lose custody of that baby. Not the asshole for scaring her. That was an appropriate and infant-safe way to demonstrate the potential consequences of your wife's actions to her in a hopefully meaningful way. But you will be the asshole if you continue to let this happen. If your wife's attitude about the safety of your child doesn't improve, it doesn't really seem like your wife can be trusted to transport the baby right now. It might be time to involve some professional help for her if you want to keep your family intact, or it might be time to document what she's doing, take your child, and leave her if you're done with risking it. See, I don't mind the way he handled this situation, and I think it was a safe way to show her the consequences of her actions. I mean, so many people nowadays, you'll see them like with a little chihuahua in their shopping carts because they couldn't just leave their dog at home, right? So the fact that your wife is willing to just leave your newborn child in the car unlocked so that anyone can take them is a huge risk. And the fact that nothing worse happened sooner is honestly really lucky for you. Anyways, let's get into the update. Update the next day. I sat my wife down this morning and I did apologize for the way I went about things, but said I was not sorry for caring about our son's safety, and in the moment felt like she needed a huge wake up call. She apologized for lying and continuing to do this unsafe practice. I asked her why she seems so casual about what she is doing. Most parents I know, myself included, are on the paranoid side when it comes to their kids, and she has been doing this for so long without seeing an issue. I asked if she thinks she's dealing with some kind of postpartum mental health issue, as I don't consider this normal. She broke down crying, saying she doesn't know what's wrong with her. She agreed to seek counseling, and until there is major change/improvement, I will be running all errands with my son, or we will be doing them together. But I told her I cannot trust her anymore to take him places by herself. You handled this perfectly, in my opinion. You got your wife the help she needs, and you apologized because this situation is very scary for her. And even though it didn't seem like it at the time, or maybe when you were reading it, if her child just magically disappeared when she knew she left the car unlocked, the only thing she could possibly think was that someone just took the child and drove off. So, good on you for apologizing, good on you for getting your help. Let's get into the second story. My 29M girlfriend, 24F, of almost 1 year told my son, 4M, to call her mommy behind my back. Just a little TW before we get into the story. There is mention of loss of a loved one in here, so you can skip about 30 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear about that. I was married to the most amazing woman 6 years ago. We had been dating for 2 years before we got married. She got pregnant after graduating from college. We were both happy. This is what we had wanted. Our son was born. Life was awesome. 10 months after his birth, while on a trip to get some stuff for the house, her car collided with two others. Nothing could be done. Her ribs broke inwards, her lungs were crushed. She passed by the time the ambulance came. Life was a bitch. Suddenly, the whole world had collapsed on me. I was in shock. The therapy didn't help. The only thing that kept me going was my son. He was buried 10 months old, but he lived. I forgot about everything else in life and functioned just as a father. I didn't go out. I ignored my friends, ruined my social life altogether. Still, I was proud of what I had accomplished as a single father. Sure, there were a few scares here and there, but overall it was great. My son was healthy and happy. Money was never a problem for me. It still hurt like a bitch inside. I literally felt no temptation to meet anybody else. I was still recovering from it all, I guess. Then, I started going out a little. My sister offered to take care of my son. She was great with him, so I felt comfortable. I got back in touch with my friends. I still retained my good physique. There wasn't much to do at home, so I'd just work out. I had started taking care of myself too. I got used to the little female attraction. After blowing off the initial 4 or 5 dates, I know it's bad, but I just couldn't go ahead with them. I started meeting other women. I'd have just casual dates with these women, but I'd turn them down before anything physical happened. It took me a long time to even kiss a girl again. On this cycle, I met Natalie, random alias here. She was an exceptionally beautiful girl who worked in my industry, loved that I was a single father, and sympathized with my loss. She was a great person and had an awesome personality. I found something special about her, so I stuck with her. It took us almost a month to have intimacy, but she was very patient with me. I had told her up front that meeting my son is not something that is happening very soon. She understood. We had a great relationship. She complained a few times about me spending a lot of time with my son and barely enough with her, but we made it work after talking about the issue. She only met my son for the first time 2 months ago. I brought her along when we were at the park. She said hi and he just looked up and sort of laughed. He's 4 and he's able to articulate properly, at least small words and greetings, so I told him to say hello. He said that and then the attention was back to the racket and the ball. She was clearly liked by him. I know she wasn't feeling interest because even when I was a bit away and was busy with something else, she was trying to play with him and interact with him a lot. That was supposed to be a happy moment, but seeing him with her reminded me of my wife, and it hurt like a bitch again. But I got over it. So, I gradually increased their time together. We still meet outside most of the time and not that much inside. We spent the day at her place, and late night she would come over to mine when my son was asleep. After a point, I felt a little comfortable leaving them alone together. So this week, my sister was visiting in town. My son absolutely adores her. She was his first female contact. I had to leave to take an overnight flight to get some work stuff sorted out, so she stayed at my place. Natalie called me in the morning and told me that she wanted to visit my son. She's been visiting him a lot, so I think it's okay. When I came back, this is what my sister worriedly tells me. Natalie came around in the morning. She spent an hour with my son and my sister. They're good friends and get along very well. So my sister got up to make something for them and went into the kitchen, while Natalie and my son were in the living room. He was on the floor playing with his toys, I guess. As soon as my sister goes into the kitchen, Natalie picks up my son onto her lap. My sister tells me that she heard her trying to get him to call her mommy. He usually calls her by a shortened version of her name, which also makes him giggle for some reason. So he said that and he giggled. My sister leant to see what they were doing, and according to her, my girlfriend was saying to him, no, not the name that my son has for her, Mommy, and repeating that again till my son said it. Then she kept on saying, I'm your mommy, mommy, and more like that. My sister was alarmed but didn't say anything. He's done that with her too, but she always brought up a picture of his mother to show him. So he stopped calling her that. I have always told him that the angel in the picture is mommy. It took him time, but he stopped calling anyone else that. I had told my girlfriend about this before and she agreed. I had told her it was important to me that my son knows who his real mother was. She said she understood. And now here I am, angry, frustrated, enraged, and feeling a bit betrayed. I don't know how long this has been going on. I haven't said anything about it to her. She knows I'm pissed about something. We have our 1 year together completing in 20 days. I had big plans for that. Now, I don't know what to do. You guys got any ideas? Guys, this is not about me moving on from my wife. This is about my son's mother. That's all. Edit. I'll talk to her about this. I don't want to break up, but I do want her to know that she has fucked up colossally and that this will set back our relationship. I'll try and be delicate. Also, most replies are now negative and aggressive, so I'll hop off Reddit. No point in posting anymore. There are other people who need your advice. Thanks for the advice you have given me. I promise I will update. It seems like his girlfriend's got the real baby fever here, not me. And when OP replies to a comment asking him about having kids with her, he says, she wants children but wants to finish grad school first. I had told her very seriously about how I really want him to know who his real mother is and that there will be no substitute for her. Not sure how I confront her about the one boundary that I was dead serious about that she ended up breaking. I know that this isn't coming across as a very serious problem to others, but this was the one thing I was really scared about, and it's a terrible betrayal on her front. I'll just end up screaming my head off. I'm really pissed by her doing what she did, and that she did it behind my back, too. Update 1. Hey guys, just thought I'd quickly update you on what happened between my girlfriend and me. Basically, I talked to her. She did agree that this had indeed happened, so she didn't deny it. That was a good thing. I asked her why she did it. She gave the reason that she always felt like an extra in my life. She thought that we could be a little bit closer if we tried to be a family. I explained to her, in a calm, composed manner, that we can't just pretend to be a family, and that her trying to make a permanent bond with my 4-year-old son, whom she had known for only 2 months, wasn't quite the way to do it. She cried and apologized. Nevertheless, this was a huge step back in our relationship. It's difficult to look at things the same way after what happened. Our big anniversary surprise is cancelled. I'll make up for it sometime later. We are still dating, but she isn't going to meet my son anytime soon. This meant that we'd be spending less nights together, but she understood. I'm also going to see a child therapist to get this mommy thing sorted out once and for all so that my son isn't emotionally affected. For those of you saying that what she did was 100% right, it wasn't. My girlfriend and I are dating. She has known my son for only 2 months. If a mommy bond were to form right now and we were to break up, it'll affect my 4-year-old son too. That'll have to wait for marriage, which honestly is something I have mentally pushed back for now. It'll take time to get the trust back with her. Update 2. 1 month later. I know all of you guys would be expecting a wonderful update with all of us becoming one big happy family. Sorry, but I got bitch slapped by life. Since a couple of weeks ago, she kept pushing me again and again over visiting my son. I told her no firmly, but she kept on being passive aggressive. All I wanted was a little more time, but she pushed me to a limit. She said that my son was missing her. He was not, and that I'm doing him a disservice by keeping her out of his life, and that I'm a horrible parent and I can't raise my son alone. We had a big fight over it, and we broke up. She broke down and crawled back and apologized, but things were never going to be the same. Life fucking sucks. It honestly just seems like it was maybe the right person, but definitely the wrong time, especially for you. It just doesn't seem like you were ready for anyone to really be around your son yet, and that's completely okay. But it must be hard from the girl's perspective too, when she's been dating you for almost a year and she's only seen your son for 2 months. With that being said, though, the fact that she was trying to get your son to call her mommy after only 2 months is a little too forward and pushy. And if anything, if she really wanted that connection with you, she should have been more open and honest to you and not been trying to use your son to emotionally manipulate you instead. Final update, 1 year later. Hello, everyone. Almost a year ago, I came here to talk about my life going upside down. I lost a quote unquote great girlfriend, someone I thought I could finally trust and allow into my son's life. That did not go well. Anyways, that time in my life was very difficult, but I got some really great perspective from the people on here, so I just wanted to thank you all once again. I feel like I'm in a really good position in my life right now, and everything feels awesome. I put all the pieces together, and my son and I are really happy. He's doing great and is healthy. So yeah, this was more of a thank you rather than an update, but I really mean it. I was really confused and some of the advice I got here was instrumental in sort of messing that out. Thanks Reddit. Take care. P.S. I'm thinking of getting us a dog. What do you guys think of border collies? Hey, I've never owned a border collie before, but they're pretty damn cute, so I'd say go for it. Unless, of course, you get some good advice that tells you not to for some good reasons, then maybe don't, because I don't know anything about dogs. But that's gonna do it for this story. It seems like he's got his life figured out. I'm happy for him. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.